This week on C Plus News Time, Comedy Central orders a show featuring Jason Sudeikis, Tracy Morgan's going on tour in 2016, and two of your favorite dead comedians are coming back in hologram form. Man, when I die, I hope I don't come back in hologram form. Or at least they bury me in a Gucci store or a Louis store, if not with some big booty hoes. Well, why don't they bury me with this? C Plus News Time.
It's C Plus News Time with your host, Chad White.
Welcome back to C Plus News Time. I'm your host, Chad White, and this is the comedy news you didn't know about for the week of October 19th, 2015. There's a lot of news in the comedy world this week, but let's get to one thing first. Yahoo announced that it lost over $42 million thanks to shows like Community. Yes, this past quarter, Yahoo lost over $42 million through its original show ventures, including Community, Other Space, and Sin City Saints. Now, this is a weird thing because these are the original shows that they bought in order to have their own streaming service through Yahoo's screen. But the Yahoo CFO announced this week that, of course, they lost that much money and those shows really didn't help. And it's really going to show you that advertisers don't really want to work with streaming services, even though it's a boom in this economy and this way we view things. You see, it's not always sunflowers and daisies like it is over at Netflix and Hulu and all that. Sometimes you struggle, and Yahoo is really showing that. On with the news. First up, Comedy Central picks up Detroiters featuring Jason Sudeikis. And this show is going to be executive produced by Lorne Michaels, own Broadway Video, and also I say featuring Jason Sudeikis because he's going to have a recurring role in the series. The show actually stars Sam Richardson from Veep and Tim Robinson, who's an SNL writer. They're two Detroit natives who perform together at Chicago's Second City. The story revolves around Sam and Tim as two small-time admin who live in Detroit, and now they want to help their hometown turn back into the glittering jewel of the Midwest that it once was. Comedy Central's Kent Alterman says that the creative team on Detroiters is so ridiculously funny, we're not even sure we deserve them. Now, of course, this series will join other wacky sitcom series like Workaholics and Broad City on Comedy Central, and this is sure to live up to those names, maybe even be even better. Next up, Tracy Morgan's going on a comedy tour in 2016. The comedian tweeted on Tuesday, October 20th, that he's headed out on a Picking Up the Pieces tour. He said, and I quote, "headed back out on the road to bring the funny. Come see me," with a link to his website, tracymorgan.com. The tour will go on from February 5th to May 28th, and it'll be going to cities like Boston, Honolulu, and Atlanta. Now, this is his first set of shows since his accident last June involving a Walmart truck and his tour bus. He hosted SNL 2 weeks ago, which led to a fun episode, and he's also been seen performing around town at places like the Comedy Cellar. And finally, two of the world's biggest comedians are coming back from the dead, this time in hologram form. The New York Times reports that Andy Kaufman and Red Foxx are touring together in 2016. Now, you may be asking yourself like, oh, they're dead. How are they doing this? Well, did you not listen to the title? I said hologram form. There's a program called Hologram USA, and it's going to be using parts of the comedian's routines and its conjunction with its hologram shows. Hologram USA founder Alki David says some strangely dark and bizarre things about the whole situation. And I quote, "There are an awful lot of dead comedians. There are an awful lot of dead people with a lot of followers. The fresher the memory, the bigger the star. The more the shock value at the opening, the better. It's entertaining, right?" Oh, God, that's a creepy sentiment if I didn't know one. I reported on this back in May with a story about Hologram USA teaming up with a Jamestown, New York comedy place called the National Comedy Center, where they create a comedy club with solely hologram performers like Rodney Dangerfield, George Carlin, and even Bob Hope. In Jamestown, New York, a new comedy club called the National Comedy Center will be hosting what people are going to start calling the Dead Comedians Society. It's still a weird thing to see these musicians and comedians coming back, and why would people want to see these things live again? I mean, it's not even real. Of course, this is probably pointing to the future, but I think Robin Williams had it right when he said in his will that he didn't want to perform in hologram form at all. Like, he can't even be shown in hologram form, which is great. And that's all the news I have for you. Why don't you subscribe and watch one of our other videos? Head to the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at cpluscomedy. Follow me on Twitter at ChadBlackWhite. And, of course, tumble with us on Tumblr. And this is the end. Hello, my friend. I can never end this right. I'm just going to stand and stare.